You're gonna start with your nunchuck in the palm of your hand. You're gonna have the string or the chain side coming out of the thumb side. Now you're gonna hold in the middle just for this warm up, and you're gonna crank it forward to make an orbital motion, which is just spinning forward. You're just pushing and pulling. Real simple motion. Holding it in the middle just for control. Then you're going to turn your palm over and then getting out of the way of the other side of your body. You're going to do the same thing. So your arm is out. The closer your arm is into your body, the more likely it is that you're going to hit yourself. So your palm is up. You spin the orbital to the outside of your body. Turn your hand over. Palm down. Palm up. Palm down. And then put that together. And now you have a simple figure eight motion, also known as the infinity spin, because you're carving the infinity sign with your hand. It's just going over and back in front of your body. Super simple. Learning how to use the nunchucks for beginners quickly. Then you're going to put in the other hand. You always want to do both hands evenly. You turn it forward, spinning the outside of your body, this orbital spin, palm over, spin it forward in the same motion, palm up. You just do this warm up for about 30 seconds per hand, palm down. Then you start to do it together, palm up, palm down, maybe your figure eight spin. And again, you're just holding in the middle just for this warm up. The other hand is up and out of the way. You can always put it on your chest just to make sure you don't smack it. Although when you do smack it, you'll learn faster that way. Then put it back into the first afternoon. Hello, Matthew. It's good to see you. You're going to pull it back and towards you. So we were going forward first. Now you're just pulling it back. So you're doing a reverse spin. Turn your palm over, other side of the body, reverse spin. Palm up, palm down. Put it together. Basically the same thing. Palm up, pulling back and towards you. Palm down, up, down. Doing these basic motions a little bit every single day, you're going to master the basics and the nunchucks very quickly. That's the reverse spin. Now go back to your first hand, and for this one, I'm going to have you hold it at the very end. That's for leverage. If you're defending yourself, this is a short, you can see that short chain. This is called a speed chuck. That's the long chain. The long chain is for self-defense. When you hold the chuck for self-defense, we're going to stay with the speed chain for now. I'm going to lower the camera just a little bit, just so you can see more of what I'm doing. Matthew said he just dropped his on the reverse spin. That's okay, just pick it up. I will drop mine, I'm sure. I'm on tile. I'm inside today. I had to come out of the garage. It is too hot out there. I can only make it for like a minute before I have to get out of that heat. It's so hot down here right now. I don't normally mind, but I've been in the heat all day. I've been working out all day, or working. So you're just holding it here, and you're going up and down. This is a vertical strike. Just think about hitting on top of his head for self-defense. After you do this for 30 seconds, bring it from your shoulder to your other hip. And when you bring it back, allow it to wrap against your back. That takes a lot of the power out of it. And again, you're gonna touch your body with it, allow it to wrap around and hit your glute, your big bum, or small bum. But it's not gonna hurt. You'll feel it, but it's not gonna kill you. That's your diagonal strike. And then practice cross and back in your horizontal strike. All your strikes can come higher, middle, low, down to the knees, and they're all correct. So just wherever you want to practice it. Once you get that motion, put it back on your shoulder. Once you go hip, hip, shoulder. So you're doing a diagonal strike, a horizontal strike and a reverse vertical strike. Think above, under his chin or into his hand for self-defense. But under here, so diagonal, horizontal, vertical. And now you're just making a simple right angle triangle. It means 90 degrees. And one long side, two shorter sides. Also known as the Bruce Lee triangle. It's a simple move Bruce Lee might do. Once you've done that, put it in your other hand, come up and down with it. To break on the way down, you allow it to open your hand just like that. You don't open your fingers. You roll the fingers down, thumb comes off, and then when it comes down, that breaks the energy and it transfers it from here into your hand. So it slows it down. It's just one way you can keep from smacking yourself in the knuckles. Just coming up and down, go to your hip and your shoulder, then come side to side, horizontal. And again, you can do this at any level, especially if you're practicing for self-defense. You don't want to hit him in his jaw for self-defense. But this is more just for warm-up. Start from your shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, Bruce Lee triangle. This is how you learn nunchucks at home for beginners quickly. You do a little bit, basic motions over and over again, just a couple minutes each. Do it every day for a month. You'll get really good fast. Now put it back into your other hand. We're gonna go back to your vertical strike, and I want you to turn your wrist and go down. I want you to add a spin on the way down and a spin on the way up. Spin down and spin up. But you'll learn this one because it's easy, low-hanging fruit, something simple you can pick up quickly. If you're a beginner, learning at home how to use the nunchucks or the nunchaku. If you want to be like Bruce Lee, if you want to be like Ip Man, if you want to be Mighty Guy. Is it Mighty Guy or Mighty G? Oh, Might Guy, that's it, I always get it wrong. Might Guy from Naruto or Rock Lee. I was thinking Spike Lee, totally different kind of character. Put in the other hand, going up and down. Spin it down, spin it up, turning the wrist. So your wrist is just coming around. Super simple, going down, going up. California Citizens Watch says, already trained from 30 years of Sun Tzu. Awesome, congratulations. It's a good amount of time to do Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is a lot of fun. Can also be very painful. Get in the ring, start smacking each other around, a couple takedowns, a couple kicks to the head, a couple punches. But Sun Tzu is good for learning the basics of self-defense, martial arts, obviously learning how to fight with weapons. Going down and up. Then I want you to go from hand to hand as you start to learn nunchucks at home, nunchucks at home for beginners. What you're doing is you're bringing it straight up to your shoulder and you're allowing it to be vertically perpendicular to the ground. That means it hangs straight down there. If it's over like this, it's not gonna work. If it's out like this, it's not gonna work as well. So you want to just straight up and down. Your hand is going to go into the front and then grab it. Once you've grabbed it, bring it around to the other side. Let it come down the front, go in front of your body. When you're first beginning, you're going to try to be reaching behind your back. It's not going to work. Go in front of the body, grab it, pull it to the other side. This is that diagonal strike in reverse. Comes up. Again, perpendicular to the ground. Don't bring it in, don't bring it out. Straight up, grab it, pull it over. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time. Once you get it, you can speed it up. And you might not get it the first day, but don't give up, don't quit, keep going. Cheerful River asked the best martial arts for fighting. Depends on what you mean by fighting. If you mean self-defense or if you mean competition. Those are two separate things, completely different, like 1,000%. One is not the other. Learning how to defend yourself against a bully at school. Learn how to speak up, say you don't have to like me, but don't touch me. Get your hands off me. Learn how to get your hands up. Learn some Western boxing. If you're talking about some just feeling more confident, so that some bully or some pushover or push around person, somebody who's pushing you, somebody's teasing you, older brother, older sister, punk in school, group of punks. Learn boxing, Western boxing. In boxing, you learn how to punch. You also learn how to get hit. That's very important. And a lot of martial arts, you'll learn all of the techniques. Taekwondo, lots of kicks. Karate, lots of punches and some kicks. Hapkido, some throws, some grappling, some kicks. But a lot of them, they don't hit each other. Even Krav Maga, they get in a line, they punch each other, but they're not punching each other in the face. Even Kyokushin Karate, where they kick and they break the baseball bat in half with their shin. They do their 100-man kumite, and no one's punching each other in the face. Now, you can kick in the head, and it's still hard. I'm not discounting the 100-man kumite, but you can get there a lot faster if you sign up for a really good boxing class. And then learn how to wrestle. If you're in school, if your school offers wrestling, sign up for wrestling. If you can find a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school, learn some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, learn how to sprawl, stop someone from tackling you on the ground. All right, now that you've gone side to side, if you're talking about self-defense, totally different thing. It is not fighting. You're not gonna fight. You're gonna learn how to use violence. That's a different thing. And that doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter the martial art. You have to learn how to do street fights. I think, street fights, if you don't have a choice and you have to get into street fights, then that's sad. Still learn boxing and wrestling. If it's a situation where you're gonna fight and then you can go home. If it's a situation where this is gonna come out and you're gonna get stabbed to death, that's not street fights. That's life or death. That's self-defense. If it's a situation where groups of people are gonna try to beat you to death, that's self-defense. That's not martial arts. And so self-defense, you have to learn. It's a whole different mindset. But if you're just talking like martial arts, you want to feel more confident when you go throughout the neighborhood or whatever. Learn any martial art will be good. All right, so you're gonna bring your elbow up, same thing, perpendicular. Now you're gonna do that downward diagonal strike. And as it comes across, you're going to point it up and into your hand. So the key is here, this hand can't move, and this, you can see your wrist is touching your elbow, and you're just pushing it straight up. If you keep your hand in the same spot, you can put the stick right into your hand. If you point your hand at your head, you're going to hit yourself in the head because you're going to point the stick at your hand. So don't point your head, don't point your hand at your head. You're going to whack yourself like I just did. Pull it out, point it straight up in the air, and then roll it into it. And that's all that is. Once it gets in there, take it off, make this one perpendicular to the ground, don't point it at your head, strike across the body, put your hand, your wrist, the top of your wrist and the bottom of your elbow, and then pop it up. So you're coming from side to side. Keep your stomach up and in, abs tight, tuck your chin a little bit, breathe through the nose, and just practice that. Then come out to this spin to the orbital. Before we warmed up down here, now we're up near the shoulder. You're gonna go to the front and the back of your upper arm. And then when you come to the front, you're gonna pinch your elbow down like you're doing a chicken wing. And you're gonna catch it, and then you're gonna squeeze it and put pressure on there, and bam, you can pop it into his eye for self-defense. Another Bruce Lee move that you'll see in the Bruce Lee movies, Ip Man movies. Squeeze, 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 boom, pop. So it's a couple spins, upper arm, catch it, squeeze, 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 pop. Then go hand to hand, do your figure eight, spin down and spin up, upper arm, catch, squeeze, pop. Now you've got some tricks that you can do like Bruce Lee or Ip Man or whatever, just with some simple moves. This is how you can learn nunchucks at home for beginners quickly if you start with these simple moves. You started with an orbital, and you turn your hand over, and then you did your figure eight, and then you went down and up, and then you went shoulder to hip, all the way shoulder to hip, then you went hip to hip, and then you put them together, Bruce Lee triangle. And you did hand to hand in reverse, and you did forward, and then you did upper arm, or upper orbital, upper arm, front and back. And all that is you're just dropping your hand to the front and the back. And then you chicken wing, catch it, bam, put pressure on it. And then, the high-pitched scream, bam, pop them in the eye. And then go into figure eight, do whatever you want to do for your freestyle. So once you get these motions down, you can start to do some putting them together, some combinations, some freestyle. There's your down and up, and you got some basic moves. Now you can also do wrist rolls, and what that is if you start here at the end of your chuck and you pop it up on the back, and then you turn your hand over and you catch it. You bring it down, bring it up, turn your hand over, bring it down, and that's all you're doing there is a simple wrist roll. You allow the chain of the string to bring the other stick. You get two sticks. I call that Chuck Norris and Chuck the Truck. Put Chuck the Truck on the top, open the hand, pop your hand over, roll it down, bring it back, bring it down, bring it back. Once you get that motion, go into your figure eight and then throw it over. Now you're in what's called a hammer grip or negative grip. And then you're still spinning in the same way. You still fight here. And then you roll it over, get back into your positive grip. Marco Petrick says go around the neck. Key to that, Marco, take your opposite hand and the knuckle side goes on the opposite side of your face. This is your left hand, the left knuckles on the outside. This is all important because if you do it wrong, you're gonna whack yourself in the head. Boom. Yeah, it's a single garrote or garrote, however you say that one. I always around the neck and the back like that. I always forgot if they say garrote or garrote. We learned that in the Marine Corps. Favorite wood, I like hickory for nunchucks. The hands are here, just because it's smooth. It's heavy too. It hurts when you hit yourself. So your hands are here, and the key is this has to be parallel to the, getting in the Marine Corps, the deck, the ground, and you bring it around. And again, wherever you point this, that's where the other side has to go. And it's gonna, if you point it, it just pops right there into your hand. And then you take it out, you do some figure eight, right hand, left side of your face, the knuckles come in the back, and then boom, comes around. Steve Ace asks, is this weapon effective in street fights? No, not my opinion. Depends on who you ask. This weapon would be more so than this weapon. Now, there's a simple reason. This is a very old, very light aluminum pair of XMA nunchucks. Those of you who've been around this industry, martial arts for a long time, you'll know that Mike Chatteranabut, I can't even say his name. I don't remember exactly how, but he's a great martial artist. Did a lot of tricks and spins and all that kind of stuff, been in some movies. Yeah, Seventh Son Steve-O said, how to get 9 stitches when he tried to teach himself. Yeah, those are war wounds. That means you paid your dues, Steve-O. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, but the light pair of chucks, when you hit, is gonna hurt, especially if I hit you with them, because I've been doing it for a long time and I know how to hit you really fast and hit you really hard. And it's probably gonna bounce off of you and it's not gonna kill you, but it would hurt. But it probably wouldn't stop you if you were like full of rage or a big person or there's multiple people. I would want to use this one. And you can hear the difference. That's heavy aircraft grade aluminum. And these things are carved in there. When you first get these, when I first got these, they used to cut my hands because they were so sharp. Doug, it's good to see you. So this one will, well, you know, Marco, you're repeating the thing that I hear from so many people, which is, if you fight with nunchucks, you're gonna hurt yourself more than you hurt the other person. And the answer is, if you don't know what you're doing, you probably will. But if you know what you're doing, you probably won't. Because, and the reason that people believe that is, like, if you hit somebody and it bounces back, boom, you hit yourself, and then you're like, oh, I did it. I hurt myself more than I hurt them. Yes, if you don't use it right. And I'll go over that real quick. If you hold it in the middle and you swing it and you stop, it's gonna smash you in the knuckles. If you use a short chain or a short string nunchuck, you're more likely to hit yourself with it. If you use the long chain and you hold it at the very end and you do it correctly, when it's at full extension, it's gonna miss your hand altogether. See, my hand is fully on there. This is what it should do if it's a proper pair of self-defense nunchucks. You're gonna have room to miss your hand altogether. If you bring it through and stop, you're gonna smash yourself. Even if you're at the bottom, even with these, I'm not gonna do it too hard because these do hurt. I can break my knuckles with these because they're so heavy. If you follow through with your strike, whether it's a diagonal strike, a vertical strike, or horizontal strike, and you hit and you come through and you follow through with it, you're not going to hurt yourself as much as you hurt him. You're gonna hurt him a lot more. If it hits him and bounces back because you were hitting him with this part, then you're doing it wrong. Nunchucks, like most other Japanese, Okinawan, Oriental style weapons, I don't know if Oriental's a term anymore, but I went to the Oriental Martial Arts College as a kid. That's where I learned all this. And that's what he called it. He was a Korean man. This will cut you. It's designed to cut you. And that's what you strike with. You strike with the tip. You don't strike with the whole chuck. It's not a stick. You're not hitting him with the stick like that. You're slicing him like that. So if you have proper distance and you know how to fight with it and you're coming through, that's why it's not a flail as some people mistakenly assume. They assume, well, this was a flail, and they get that idea because the Okinawans would take it and smash the rice off the rice stalk, and this was a farm implement. Now, I've seen both sides of that argument where it's been debunked by professors and history or whatever, and then other people says that it's not. But that's not how you would use it for self-defense. You would use it the very tip, and you would strike through, and you could come through. And if you do follow through and you hold it in the right position and you have the right length chain, then it doesn't, it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna bounce off him and then come back and hit you in the eye, unless you don't know what you're doing with it. Now, that's how I got my first pair. My first pair of chucks, my brother and I, as kids, teenagers, got into a fight, a street fight, stupid thing, teenagers do, in the neighborhood with a kid from down the street and his buddy. And this guy went to the Greg Green Kung Fu Academy. And if you were in Columbus, Ohio, a million years ago, you would know about the Greg Green Kung Fu Academy and the kind of students that it produced and the kind of person that guy was. There's a difference between like a Taekwondo, Karate Do, Aikido, Judo. The Do means the way of self-improvement through martial arts, and then there are all these rules. People make the mistake of thinking like they see the old karate movies, the old Karate Kid, and they think that all martial arts instructors are Mr. Miyagi. They're not. Most of them are like Cobra Kai. The Cobra Kai guy, he's not a Do guy. Mr. Miyagi's a Do guy. The way of self-improvement, self-discipline, philosophy, good philosophies, good, similar to Christian philosophy. Zen philosophy. The other guy, just street fight, fight, which is a very short path to either hurting somebody and getting yourself incarcerated, or getting beat up, or just being full of crap all the time and pretending you're something you're not. Anyway, and then teaching your students that they've got skills that they don't have. That's how we got our first pair. This guy came around with a pair of nunchucks to fight, swung up my brother. He stepped straight in, which I believe straight is bad. Hit him first, hit him before he hits you. Straight in, smash him. My brother punched him right in his face, fell to the ground, picked up his nunchucks, hit him with it a couple times. They ran off. And then we had our first pair. Then we reverse engineered it in the garage without my parents' knowledge, got some tomato steaks, and then from then on, we made our own, and we always had lots of nunchucks. And we practiced and got really good at making nunchucks. And that's how it used to be. That's how you used to do. Yeah, California's only option. California, you got to read the laws. Someone said recently in the chat that, or in the thing, that they can't use nunchucks in their state because they're illegal, and they were talking about Oklahoma. And the company that sells these, it's probably sold more nunchucks than anybody else's, Century Martial Arts, and they're headquartered in Oklahoma City. So There's almost no place that these are illegal now. Maybe in the 60s and 70s, when there's a lot of ignorance about what they really were, then people thought they, and then those are myths. It's like, if you palm strike a guy and you hit him in the nose, the bone is going to detach straight into his brain, instant death. That's a myth. That's not true. That's not going to happen. You might smash his nose and the blood comes out and it hurts, and his eyes are watering, he's coughing up snot. That might happen, but you're not going to detach the nose bone and shove it through his brain and he's going to instantly die. That's not a thing, but we've believed that forever and ever and ever. There are the other things that are way more dangerous than that, by the way. And I'd rather get hit by even this pair of nunchucks than a baseball bat or a billy club or a golf club or tire iron. So the idea that these are so dangerous that you can't have them, that's just a myth. So if you think in your state or your country or city or whatever that it's illegal, now it might be illegal to walk down the street swinging them at people. You might get picked up and run in for that, but they would do that if you had a sword or you had a kitchen knife, or you might get shot. If you're walking around menacing people with that, then you're in trouble. If you hide this in some places, they might consider this a weapon, but they might also consider a kitchen knife or a big pocket knife or whatever. So it just depends on what your intent is and everything else. But the bottom line is, if you've got these in your house and you're training with them, you want to learn how to defend yourself, then go for it. Don't let somebody else's opinion or what you used to hear or whatever. When you go online and you try to buy a pair, if it says you can't order them for wherever you live, your state, and there are countries where you definitely can't have these, then you're right, you can't have them. But mostly in the United States, you can have these just about anywhere. But, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. You'll figure it out, whether you can or not. Yeah, the nose isn't a bone. The cane is my favorite self-defense tool by far, because you can take it anywhere and everywhere you go. You just have to decide for yourself whether you want to have the image of carrying a cane. And some people don't. So if you don't want to carry a cane, maybe you carry an umbrella, and then you have a self-defense tool that way. But learning how to use nunchucks at home for beginners quickly is super simple, and maybe it's just your fun. Maybe it's your guilty pleasure, as Steve was saying. But you guys have been awesome. Thank you for being here, and I will see you when we do this on the next time. It's much cooler inside, so I might start doing these inside. I'll find a good place here in the house to do them, but I'm getting really hot out there in the garage. But you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much.